Okay, we're back. I just opened this file. This is the file that we worked on in the previous video, and I will put a card to the video up here in the corner where I showed how to design this. This is just a note I put in there for anybody that wants to use this file. I will be selling this actual Gingerbread file. I did not sell the outline. I gave that away for free, so you can go do your own. But if you want to do this ornament itself, I will be selling the file for the using the vCarve, and I'll be also selling the Bamboo Studios STL file and the laser file, so you can use any of those you want to cut this. With that, let's move on. So this is what the file looks like. And now what I want to do is actually cut it on my CNC in this video. So let's go about how I would be doing that. First thing, I don't want to mess up this file, so I'm actually going to save this file as a different name. And I'm going to save this as Gingerbread Ornament Actual CNC Cut. And that way I don't mess with my original file. And I'm going to make some changes based on how I like to operate my CNC. Most people go from the surface. I go, when I'm going to cut through, I like to cut off the bottom. So I'm going to make some changes right now to the material setup. And here's what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is, remember, I am using metric or millimeters. So the X direction of my material is 12 inches times M equals, and the Y direction of my material is 19 inches long times M equal, and the Z thickness of my material, I measured it with calipers, is 3.4 millimeters. And now here I'm going to change to the machine bed, and then I'm going to change to the bottom left corner. I don't care about that. I'm going to change this, even though it doesn't represent it completely, let's say to a yellow plastic. Hit OK. So it says, do I want to recalculate my toolpaths? I'm going to put no, because I'm going to move this material around. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my project and I'm going to move it down here, because that's where I'm going to cut it at in this material. And I'm going to go ahead, just so I get the most cuts out of my material, and rotate it. That's through experience. And I'm going to come up. Let's do this one more time. That's probably good enough, but I'm going to try to get as much out of this material as I can. So I'm going to move it right into here, enough to where I can clear it. I just want to make sure that I got at least 0.125 here, because I'm going to be using an 1/8 inch bit. So 0.125 is a little over 3 millimeters, so we're good there. And over here, we're good, a little over 3 millimeters. Hit close. So now I have my ornament here. I'm going to open up the toolpaths. I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to hit recalculate visible. Hit OK. It told me that it's going to cut through. Let me do this here. It told me that this cut path was going to cut through, because remember, this in the video is a tapered ball nose bit that I was going to use to cut through to make the sections a little tighter. And in reality, I'm not even going to use that. So so I don't get any confusion, I'm going to go ahead and take that one out right now. It's not important. I'm just going to use the 1/8 inch. So the bits I'm going to use are a V bit. It's a 30-degree V bit, a 1/8 inch down cut bit for the clearance here. Then I'm going to switch over to a compression bit. And the reason I went with the down cut bit is I don't want it to tear up any of the material. Then I'm going to go to a compression bit for all the rest. And let's take a look at how this is going to look. We'll preview them all. And there you can see how that looks. Let's see if we can turn this color instead of brown, because we're going to actually paint it white, to white. All right, and that's how it should look. And if we take away the material, there you go. Now we got two options when we set this up. I can either set it up with tabs, and that's an option. And remember, if I set it up with tabs, I need to set it up on the outside, and I also need to set up tabs on the inside. Then I have to fuss with all of the tab removal and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use double-sided tape and hope that it holds well. So I've used it before, and it's always done well, except for once or twice it broke loose. And I want to make sure that it doesn't do that, but this isn't a big, thick piece of wood, so I'm going to go ahead and go with that and try it out. So with that, we've got everything set up now to move the toolpaths over to my USB and get started in the machine. So let's go do that. And you don't need to see how I do that. That's different for everybody. We're back at the faithful good old IQ CNC. Time to do some more CNC cutting. Let's talk about what we're going to do here. I've got myself a piece of MDF that I bought from a company called Smoky Hill Designs, and they make some really cool stuff. Maybe I'll show you later in the video some of the other cool stuff they make with these cutting materials. They're mostly known for laser materials, but I talked with them and they said they should work on the CNC. So we're going to give this one a try. First time I ever cut one of their pieces of material on the CNC. And as I said earlier in the video, I'm going to use double-sided tape. I started to tape it down and I put it on the wrong side. I put it over here, and I'm not going to need that, so I'm not going to use that. The one thing I made sure when I put the double-sided tape on was that I ironed it on there nice and good. So that was on there nice and good. And now the next step is to go ahead and take this, and I like to make sure that one last time before I actually put this material down is I wipe it nice and clean from any sawdust or anything that might have been on the material. So I'm going to now put it down here on my fence in the corner, put it down, and I'm going to make sure that I really rub that down. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hold the material down with a couple of these clamps. And so now I'm confident that this material is not going to move. The only question is how well that tape holds. Like I said, I used to have complete confidence, but it did break loose on one or two projects in the last couple months, so got a little more nervous about just using two-sided tape, which Mark Lindsay would say go to the blue tape and CA, and it's never failed on him. And maybe that's the right thing, but I've got the tape, so I want to use it. All right, so now I've got everything fastened down, and we're all set to get ready to start this project. The first thing I want to do is go over the bits I'm going to use. What I have right now is a 1/8 inch down cut bit, and that I'm going to use for clearing the smile and the eyeballs and stuff. And then I'm going to switch over to a 30-degree down cut Jenny V bit, and then I'm going to switch to the cut through bit, which is a Jenny mini compression bit, which is a 1/8 inch bit. But before all of that, what I'm going to do is put some masking on here, and I probably should have done that before I laid it all down. So when you come back next, I'm going to fade out. You don't need to see me do that, but I'm going to put some blue Oracal mask on here to make it easier to paint the eyes and everything white when I'm done. So I'm going to check out right now. Next time you'll see me, I'll have the Oracal mask on. Okay, we're back. And like I said, when I got back, you'd see the Oracal mask. What I got here is an Oracal plastic vinyl that is on here for the CNC. You cannot use this type of masking on the laser, so you won't see me use this on the laser, but on the CNC I can. And the only reason for the masking is when I carve this, hopefully it won't tear up, and if it doesn't tear up, it'll make painting it easier, which you will see later in the video. With that, we're going to go ahead and get started with cutting. Again, I'm going to use 3 bits. I'm going to use a down cut bit, 1/8 inch down cut. I'm going to use a V-bit, and it's advertised as a downcut V-bit, and that's to help from tearing the Aura mask, the masking up. And then I'm going to use a compression bit, which I go down past the upcut part on the first plunge. And that should help keep the fibers good on the top and the bottom of the cut. And that is the plan. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me get my safety glasses, and I'll be ready to start rocking and rolling. So here we go. We're going to start the first tool path. I'm zeroing the bit off the wasteboard. Now this bit should not cut all the way through. This bit is just going to give us the face. Clear it out so the V-bit doesn't have to do so much work. Not much at all. So now we're going to change to the V-bit. 30 degree, down cut, Jenny V-groove. Something like that. V-groove Jenny. I'll go ahead and come over and zero this off the deck or the wasteboard. Now, one of the things I don't like to do with these sharp V-bits is to use the pad, because they can have a tendency to wear on the tip of the bit. And this is very sharp, so I'm going to come down and use the old paper method. Not familiar with the paper method, you take it down until the paper just barely drags. I'm taking it down right now at 0.1 millimeter each time I hit this button, right there. Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna Z0 now. Go ahead and run this tool path. Next step is to go ahead and change this out for a 1/8 inch compression bit. And there we are, we have the ornament. Let's take a closer look at it. And there we are, we have the ornament. Looks pretty good. Let's see if we can go around it, take a good look at it. Looks like it's cut through okay, so we should be good. Okay, it's time to pull it off. So now I have the rest of this sheet to make the laser version of this. Now the hard part is pulling this ornament off without breaking it. Because the tape holds it too strongly. Now I could have used a quarter inch piece, which would have made this stronger and probably been a good idea, but this is what I had, and so I went ahead with it. You might want to use a 1/4 inch piece to be a little stronger, but this works pretty good actually. And if you wanted to, you could make it so it was double-sided, so you had the face on both sides. So there's what you have before it's painted. I'm going to go blow this off with some air and take a little bit of light sanding material to sand off some of this here with the brush. All right, so let's see what we got here. I got a little brush here, and I'm just going to brush it in the corners there. Take a little compressed air. Try not to blow off the Oracal mask. And with that, I think, little sander here. And let me go get a little white paint. Well, that's a wrap on this video. Here's the result of the ornament that I just cut out using the CNC. Worked pretty good. I Went through the process of the file in the previous video up here that I pointed out to you on how to design the ornament. This one I went through how to take that design and cut it out on the CNC machine. I used surfacing off the wasteboard. You can use surfacing off the top. Just follow through and set up the toolpaths the way I have them in the file, and you'll be good. I hope this was helpful. I hope it will allow you to make your own ornaments in the future and have some fun with your CNC. My next video, which will follow soon, will be doing the same exact thing, making an ornament using the files that I created in the first video on my laser. So if you want to know about that, make sure you're subscribed so you know when it comes out. It'll come out sometime in the next couple days, and it'll be ready for you to observe and see how I use the same design files in the laser. And then a few days after that, or within a short period of time, will be the same video using the same design on my 3D printer, my bamboo printer, and how I get it into that printer. Until then, go make some chips or have fun however you do in your shop or whatever you like to do. Enjoy life. And until we meet in this medium again, I'm wishing you the very best. And once again, if you want to make sure you're aware, make sure you are subscribed, and also like and comment. It helps get this video in front of other people.